Hello my friends and welcome to my channel. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Today I will be sharing 13 Easter DIYs, home decor DIYs with you that are some of my favorites that I have made in the past. Also, I would like to mention that I am adding an extra video on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. And welcome to my channel. Today I am sharing with you a very simple, easy and inexpensive way to create pillow covers, no-sew pillow covers for any season or any occasion. So I'm starting off with this $4 canvas that a drop sheet that I had picked up at Dollarama and hot glue. So the first thing that I do is take apart this, open up this canvas obviously, and cut four different, two same sizes and then two other sizes of pillow covers that I want. I am not using a sewing machine, I am just simply using hot glue. So as you can see, this is actually really nice material. I think I had lucked out when I found this. Because not always do they have this drop sheet, but it worked really well for these pillows. So the two sizes that are the same are going to be 12 by 12, and then the next size is pretty much, I took pillows that I wanted to these covers to be for, and measured them in there around, and then I just cut to the size. But this one I know it was 12 by 12 because I had measured it. I am using my rotary cutter, however it does not work on the little stitched size because it's too thick, so I had to use scissors for that. So once I had everything cut out, I started with the gluing, and you want the outside to the insides to meet together on the inside and the outsides to be on the outside. So whatever side you are using for it to be your front of the pillow, you want it to be facing the inside for when you're gluing it. I hope that makes sense. And I glue three sides so that way I can put the pillow in. If you were stuffing the pillow, I would say glue the fourth side halfway and then stuff it, and then glue the rest of the way. Now for one of the 12 by 12 pillows, I just wanted to show you, I am creating almost like a piping border on it with some of this buffalo check fabric that had come from Dollar Tree. I had actually bought a few of these, and then I actually bought some off of my friend too, because she wasn't using them. So I am using about an inch for each side, and I'm using these squares to be my guide for that. This took a little bit of figuring out. I did one of these for a Valentine's Day cover pillows last year, so I was just trying to remember how exactly I did it. So you want to glue the material facing down, and the first try I realized I was doing it wrong, so I ended up redoing it because you want it to fold to the middle, not to the outside.
Maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know you're gonna be the girl that I'll end up calling my own. We ride around in style, sleeves rolled up, glasses on, and then you make that smile.
And again, I am gluing only the three sides, leaving the middle open, leaving the one side open.
sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now?
And the other two I just assembled the same way as I did the first one. Now moving on with the designing, for two of the pillows I used my Cricut machine to cut out the heat transfer vinyl. This was a first time using the heat press and the transfer vinyl. I borrowed the heat press from my sister just to try it out before I go out and buy it. And the design, I will leave a link down below in the description box where I got the design. It was free, but however you had to sign up for an email or something like that. So I love this design. Actually, a friend Sandra from the Shoreline Nest had sent it to me, where she got it from. So I just used it, and I love the way it turned out on the pillow. I was struggling a little bit because I thought there was another layer to this, but I could not figure it out. I did end up figuring it out though.
You know I want you close, maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know you're gonna be.
So once I was done removing the vinyl off, I just weeded out the little circles. This was a little tedious, but I did, and it took a little bit of time, but you have to do this with almost all the vinyls that you do. So once you have finished doing that, you want to heat up the mat surface or any surface that you are transferring, that you're putting your material on. You want to heat it up. You want it to be warm. Then I put my pillow cover. I turn it inside out, or the right side in, I guess, and then just set it up where I want it to go, and put my design on it, position it, make sure it's right in the middle, and then I have this sheet to protect the vinyl from melting that I put on top before I start using the press. Voila! Doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? It was very easy to remove the top of the clear part, and I am absolutely in love with the way this turned out. I think I'll be putting that heat press on my wish list for sure. For the next pillow, I cut out this bunny using a rotary cutter and my fabric, and the bunny was in the Cricut Access. I'm pretty sure it was a free image, and I am going to turn this pillow inside out and check out the piping around. I think that looks absolutely fabulous. I love the way it just adds that little extra design to it. And the reason why I'm hot gluing all these pillows, if you watch me here, I often mention it, I do not know how to sew. I'm planning on taking a course once I am able to do it in person. And I had actually sold my sewing machine too, because I could not figure it out how to work it. Pretty sure there was something wrong with it. I'm going with that. So I had glued this bunny on, just slowly working the sides because I didn't want to burn myself. I tend to burn myself often, so I was just going really slowly each side, slowly side by side. This is a very inexpensive way to add pillow covers to your decor. I mean, this whole thing, the material was $4 and I used half of it, if that. The roll of buffalo check, it was $1.25. I used about half of it. And then the stencil I had, the heat transfer vinyl, the whole roll I think I've paid around $20 for, and then I only used maybe a quarter of it. So I think all in all I spent maybe $4 for the whole 4 pillow covers. So once I glued the bunny on, I wanted to accent it out with a little bit of rope. So I am just gluing rope all the way around the outline of the bunny. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, my name is Sonja, and over on my DIY channel here I create tons of dollar store DIY, budget-friendly DIYs, as well as some furniture upcycles and trash to treasure makeovers. I would love it if you joined my YouTube family, and by pressing that subscribe button and a notification so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. This took a little bit of time to do, but I think it was well worth it. So here he is. I think he looks absolutely adorable, and adding the piping on the sides gave it an extra design. Now for the smaller pillowcase, I wanted to show you that you can create something without a Cricut machine on the pillow. I will be using a stencil, but obviously before that I have to turn my pillow inside out, and to get these corners completely out you can always use an end of a brush or a pencil just to push them out. It works really good. So for the stencil, because it's springtime, but first you want to put something underneath so the paint doesn't transfer onto the bottom. So like I was saying, for the stencil I'm using the Fresh Flower Market stencil and some gray paint. This is just a dark gray paint. And I will be using this foam sponging brush to apply the paint on. Now when you're applying the paint onto the stencil, less is more, so I just put a little bit of paint on, take some off, and then stencil it on. You don't want big blobs of paint because it will leak. Sometimes it leaks anyways, but this prevents it from leaking too much underneath the stencil. I think one of the best parts of stenciling is the reveal. I absolutely love the way this pillow turned out. So simple, but looks absolutely beautiful. For my last pillow cover, it's the rectangular one, I was going to use some burlap to create carrots, and then I had remembered that I had made a carrot garland about 2 years ago that I wasn't planning on using in my decor anymore, so I am taking it apart. I am cutting off the felt leaf piece and cutting it obviously off the rope for garland, and then I'm going to glue these carrots on and paint the little leaf tops on top. So I will be gluing them one up, one down, and I'm actually decided to glue just the solid orange side down. So I have cut this up just out of regular burlap, glue them together, and I stuffed it with a little bit of Kleenex so it gives them a little bit of thickness, and then I painted, just dry brushed the orange paint on them to make them look like carrots. I think this looks very rustic, and I love the way these carrots look. I just wasn't loving them all that much on the garland anymore. And for the leaves, I'm using an acrylic paint in a leafy green and just a small brush.
Be afraid of hurting me, 'cause you can't break my heart.
This was so easy to make, even if I had to make the carrots again, and I think the end result was stunning. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And if this is your first time stopping by, make sure you press the subscribe button. I want to thank everybody returning and watching this video. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. Let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
No telling where.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you some dollar store wood DIYs. These are Easter DIYs created from wood items that came from dollar store. I had picked up a set of these wooden bunnies. It was actually a package of them at Dollar Tree, and this little palette came from Dollar Tree as well, I think. And so I decided to paint the bunny with white acrylic paint and stain the palette with a special oak. It's a stain that I have on hand. You could also paint it or stain it in any color that you really want to. It doesn't really matter. I just did it in the one that I had, and I just used a rag to paint it, to apply the stain. Once the stain had completely dried and the bunny had dried, I just hot glued him to the palette. I think this was such an easy and simple DIY, and a great sign to go on your tier tray or as tray fillers for your table, or wherever you need a small little sign to fill it and to add that hint of a seasonal decor.
It goes.
For my next project, I am using this wood round that came from Dollarama, and I'm going to add some painter's tape just to make different sections, because I'm going to paint one section and stain the other section. Now, with some of that white paint left over on that brush from painting the bunny, I am just going to brush that on very lightly onto the one part of the round, and then immediately after, because it's such a light coat, I was able to retape it, and then the other sections I am going to be staining them with a walnut stain that I had on hand that came from your dollar store with more. And again, I'm using my rag to spread the stain out. This is a very easy and fast DIY since the stain and the light coat of paint dry almost instantly. Now, taking my pencil, I am going to just do my writing in pencil first, so that way I don't mess it up. But before I actually use the pencil, I am just going with my permanent marker and adding some wood lines to make it look like a palette or something similar to that. And then once that's done, I'm going to use a pencil to write out my writing. Now, you could also use your Cricut machine to cut it out if that's what you want, or if you are fortunate enough to find a stencil that says Happy Easter, that would work as well. Or even one of those wood cutouts that at Christmas time you were able to find some wood words cut out at Dollar Tree. I just wanted to make it simple, and I went ahead with the pencil and then traced it with that marker, and then just doubled up some of my lines just to make them a little bit thicker.
Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights, and I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes.
Once my writing was on there, I went and I just got some odds and ends of greenery that I had in my odds and ends bin and hot glued them to the top. And then I'm going to add some fun ribbon to it just to give it that Easter vibe with a very bright blue, pink, yellow, and white colors. And again, I'm not the world's greatest bow maker, so my bows always look a little wonky, but nevertheless, I don't mind the way they look, so I proceeded in adding them.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings.
I think this is such a cute sign to hang on your door or prop it up against on top of the fireplace or on your shelf. For my last DIY, I am using a page out of the Dollar Tree calendar that says Bloom Love Here. Love blooms here. Love blooms here. And I'm also using a leftover sign from Still Back in Fall that I had in my trash stash that I used some of it in fall time, but I kept it because I knew I was going to use it as a sign for something else. So I'm going to, I was originally going to peel this off, but it wasn't going as well as planned, and the other side had big staples in it. So I've decided to just cut the calendar out, and then once the calendar was cut out, I went and took my sanding block and just sanded the edges. I actually loved the way this looked, and I wish I didn't peel off some of that, but you can't really tell once the picture was Mod Podged on. But sanding this, it gave it that, it's almost like the same rustic look that the little picture had at the back of it. And then I just used a normal Mod Podge just to Mod Podge the picture on the top and the bottom. of the picture. So I put some Mod Podge on the side, and then I put Mod Podge on top of the picture as well. I think this turned out so cute, and it was such an easy makeover of this sign, and a great way to add some bright, cheerful colors to your decor.
To fly. Sometimes we're crashing down.
I would love to know what you guys thought of all these DIY wood DIYs. Let me know which one was your favorite. And if you're stopping by my channel for the very first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. And those of you returning, thank you so much for your continuing support, and I shall see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I am super excited to be bringing you 3 brand new Easter DIYs. These are DIYs for spring that are made out of dollar store materials. So for this very first one, I'm starting off with this a little glass jar or a vase. I got this at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be spray painting it with the Rust-Oleum chalked paint in white. I just want to give it a light coat, and then you want this coat to dry, but I am not going to wait for it to fully dry. I also want to mention that this video is part of a collaboration that is hosted by Yanni and Diane from Deco Easy. They have been doing these type of collaborations around the world for almost every season, and I am so glad that they had asked me to join in. There is a ton of us joining in, so there will be a playlist in the description box, as well as their channel will be linked in the description box for you to check out. So once my vase or a jar was somewhat dry, so you want it to be tacky, but not to the point where the paint is staying on your fingers. You just want it to be tacky. And then I took my Stampin' Up! Stamps for Easter theme stamps, and I'm going to be stamping on to the jar with some black stamping pad. Now this can be any color, it really doesn't matter what color it is. I'm pretty sure that you probably could do it without color as well, because the tackiness will kind of transfer onto the stamp, and you will see a beautiful, almost like glass etching effect that this leaves. I just absolutely love the way this turned out, and I'm going to add a little mushrooms to go with the little bunny. Any stamps will do. They don't have to be Stampin' Up! Stamps. I just happen to have tons of stamps from scrapbooking. I used to scrapbook a lot, and I have a lot of these stamps laying around, and I'm so glad that I did not get rid of them, because I have started to use them in my DIYs quite a bit in the last month or so. Now at this point you could probably just leave it as is, but I wanted to add a little bit of rope, nautical rope to it, just to add another texture to the glass to kind of go along with all the rest of my decor. So I added about 3 rows to the bottom and about one, I think I did about 1 row at the top. I just love the way this looks. It looks so pretty with the candle in it, and like I said, I just love the way it turned out. For the next one, I Now, if you are a fortunate one and at your Dollar Tree, they happen to have those wreaths, bunny wreaths that are forms, you don't have to do this step. You can completely skip to the rope wrapping step. But I wasn't able to find any bunny form wreaths, so I decided to make my own. I am just making a small wreath, and these are two for $1.50 at our Dollar Tree. And I'm also going to be using white nautical rope to wrap around the wreath. I saw this inspiration on Pinterest and I really loved the way the bunny looked, but I've been looking for and waiting for this form to come into our store, but with no luck. So I decided to just make my own. So I am just using some crafting wire, cut it and shape it into ears, and wrap them around the wreath to hold it in place. This was a little bit tricky and it took a little bit of time to get it all right. And the ears did and turn out a little funny looking, but I don't care. I still love the way this wreath ended up turning. And now I'm going to start with wrapping the rope. So I just start with adding a dab of hot glue just to keep it in place, and then across on top, and then I just keep going, and every so often I will add a little bit more glue just so it keeps it in place. And I do this all over the wreath and all over the ears. Now you can leave it as is, but I wanted to add a little bit of ribbon, so I'm going to kind of put together a ribbon using some of this plaid spring ribbon that I have from Dollar Tree, as well as just a piece of burlap ribbon that I had on hand. And then I'm also going to be adding just a little flower to the corner of the ear. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja, and on this channel I do tons of home decor DIYs, furniture upcycles, and just anything home DIY related. So if this is something that you enjoy watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. And if you're stopping by from the collaboration, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out the rest of the playlist videos as well in the description box. I just love how cute this bunny turned out, even though the ears look a little wonky. And the last DIY that I will be working on is on this bunny. I had picked this guy up at Dollarama for $4, but I wanted to make him go along with my decor a little bit better, and I wanted to give him a bit of a concrete finish. So I will be using black, gray, as well as white acrylic paint and a stippling brush to achieve this look. So now that it's time to apply the paint, I am dipping the paintbrush in all three colors at the same time. So the bunny is almost done, but I did find it was a little bit darker than I wanted it to be, so I am going to wait for it to dry a little bit and then go ahead and apply some of the white paint on it and blend it in, and this had lightened up the look of him. I think he turned out so cute, and I just love how he looks in my decor. Well, I hope you had enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not. Don't forget to check out the playlist link down below, as well as Yanni and Diane's channel. And I will see you all in my next one. Thank you all so much for watching. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be creating 3 Easter DIY signs. Some are from Trash to Treasure items, some are just out of what I had at home, and I will also be using my Cricut machine. So for this very first one, I picked this up at Goodwill for $4, actually at Value Village for $4, and obviously it does not suit my style, but I had an idea for it, so I went with it. So I paint the whole frame and the inside with a white chalk paint, and then I paint the little squares with black acrylic paint. I had finally picked up this tool that takes off tags without any trouble, and it worked really well, taking the sticky stickers, the price tags off. If you watch me, you know I struggle with these price tags as price stickers, especially on dollar store items all the time. So over on my home channel, a couple weeks ago, I had shared all my decor plans for spring and Easter, and I kind of did an unboxing of all of my decor and realized that I was lacking on some signs. I love decorating with signs, using them throughout my house for different seasons or just all year long, and this is one item that I had almost none when it came to spring, so I wanted to add some decor, some of this spring decor item to my decor. So here I am making them up. So like I said, I paint these with 2 coats of a black acrylic paint. So then I move on painting the border and the inside, and I paint that with white chalk paint. Originally I was going to leave the border and the inside, so the border I was going to leave white and the inside I was just going to leave brown, but then I wasn't loving the way that looked, so I ended up painting the inside as well with white. But then once I was finished painting that with white, I wasn't overly crazy with having the white border as well, so I end up painting that with some brown and black as well as the white paint. I do use a dry brushing technique to add brown and black paint. If you don't know what the dry brushing technique is, it is when you dip your paintbrush into the paint and then you take almost all of it off and dry brush it. So your brush is almost dry, and gently, without much pressure, you brush it on. And then I follow the same technique with both the brown paint, the black paint, and then I just go over it and soften it up with a little bit of the same white that was on the bottom.
When I'm with you, can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other.
If this is your first time stopping by my channel, I would love it if you consider pressing the subscribe button and a notification bell, so that way you can not miss out on any of my future DIY videos. I do dollar store DIYs, trash to treasure upcycles, as well as furniture makeovers over here on the channel, and different types of DIY home decor videos 3 times a week or plus, maybe even more. So make sure that notification bell is on as well, so you don't miss out my new uploads. So for the little squares, I was using my Cricut machine, and I have added these designs. I got them off of the Cricut Access and just cutting them out on just plain white vinyl. And then I'm using obviously a transfer tape to transfer them onto the little squares. I always say that I am not so new, but fairly new to Cricut, and just discovering all the different possibilities that are available on it. It is so exciting for me. I tend to, because I don't use it all the time, sometimes I forget the steps and have to remind myself of different steps of going through cutting vinyl and transferring the vinyl and all that stuff. So bear with me while I get this vinyl off and then weed it through and then transfer it onto the little squares.
Stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. I feel like I've let you go now. When you're looking like that, can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. Never-ending sunshine.
So while I was doing this, my camera died, but I also didn't wait long enough, and some of the paint started to peel off, so I had to touch it up with the acrylic paint, but only for the middle one. The other ones worked really well. I do love how the white looks in contrast with the black paint. I think it looks very farmhouse-ish, I guess. And the way the dry brushing on that frame looks, it just makes it so rustic, in my opinion. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Are you getting that rustic farmhouse feel? Now, I originally wanted to cut this out on the orange vinyl, but I couldn't find vinyl that was orange. I'm sure there is some, it's just Michael's didn't have it, and then our Dollar Tree just started to sell the Cricut vinyl as well, and they had yellow, green, and blue and red, but they did not have orange. So I ended up taking my permanent marker and just coloring it in. The orange, I think it just gives this sign that pop of color, and I love the way the carrots turned out with the orange marker. And then I just fill in the leaves with the green permanent marker. I wanted to make that carrot sale sign, so that is what I'm doing. And for the writing, I am using a chalk marker. So here is the sign. I absolutely love the way it turned out. I think it's going to look great and match my Easter decor and spring decor perfectly. Now moving on to the next project. I have had this sign for a little while, and I am not a huge fan of glitter. So I thought I could repurpose this sign. So first is I use my sanding block to remove as much glitter as possible, just so it's not glittering up my paint. Once I was done sanding, I give both sides two coats. Well, this side I do 2 coats of paint, and then the other side I only do 1. The reason for that is this one has the design, and instead of painting, because it was fairly light, otherwise I would have painted it black first and then white, but I was able to cover it up with 2 coats of white paint, and I'm using the Annie Sloan original to paint the board. With the second coat on the other side, I went just 1 coat, and that coat wasn't like a full coat. It did. I wanted to show as much of that brown. It's not wood. It is what is it? Chipboard to show through. And again, I'm using my design space to create a design and cutting out my vinyl on that design. The design that that design that I cut out, I actually designed it myself using items or images that I already had. For me, transferring images onto any surface, it's so satisfying. It's almost as satisfying as removing a stencil once you are finished stenciling. I just love the way things end up looking once I'm actually able to remove this off the transfer tape. So I also had a, it said established in 2021 on there, but because the letters were so small, I did not realize they did not transfer on, so I ended up just writing them down on with the marker. So here it is. I absolutely love the way it turned out. Again, very rustic, very farmhouse. So for this last one, I have had this stained a piece of wood for a while. I'm not quite sure what was on it, but I wanted to make this bunny sign. I'm sure you guys seen them on Pinterest. Almost every time I search up Easter signs, it pops up. So I am using a water-based all-surface marker to draw an outline of a half a bunny. So that's just so that way I don't go with paint right away. This will be my outline. Once I was happy with the outline, I go in and fill in with that same Annie Sloan original chalk paint. And I do a very light coat because I want some of that stain to show through. Now what I did find with the brush that I was using, it was a great brush to get the angles, but in order to paint it, I kind of had to go over it in the same direction because otherwise it was leaving kind of like stopping points, which I wasn't crazy about. Once it was done and had some time to dry, I go in with a permanent marker and just draw on a mouth, whiskers, and eyes, and then I paint on a nose with just a I think it's called bubblegum pink acrylic paint.
Memories, the flickering light casts shadows on the concrete. You don't have to worry. You don't need to be afraid.
And then the last thing that I do is I hot glue the ribbon to the neck. And the ribbon that I'm using did come from Dollar Tree. I really love the different ribbons they've had for Easter right now. They had this one in green and white, and they also had a pink one, pink and white, and then they also had a thicker ribbon with a pink, white, blue, and yellow, I think, stripes. I did do a Instagram video of my haul from the Dollar Tree, so if you want to check out what I got when I got those ribbons, you can do so on my Instagram page, which is linked in the description box. Here he is. I think he looks so cute and so fun, and I'm debating whether I should put him on my front porch. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.
It's already broken from the start.
2 more Easter dollar store DIYs. And for the first project, I'm using this Happy Easter truck sign that I picked up at Dollar Tree. And I'm removing the Happy Easter sign off, and I will also be using some of these craft scrapbooking papers. I just haven't decided exactly which ones I want to use, but as you can see, I have an extremely large stack of floral spring type a cardstock here that I want to be using, and I will also use a sander and some tacky glue. So once I have removed the bottom off, I want to sand the whole piece. Well, primarily I want to sand off the shiny stuff, the sparkles off the wheels is what I want, because I will be covering everything else, but the wheels will be showing and I didn't want any sparkles on them. Once that was done, I wanted to trace all the little details of the trucks. Some of them, when you, I think the Christmas one, when I bought it, it was raised, so I could just trace it on the paper, kind of rub it on, but this one, it was flush. So I ended up tracing it with a black marker, and then using a paper, white paper. It was actually an old printer paper, like one of those ones that had holes in it, that I ended up using for it because it was see-through enough. So friends, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, my name is Sonja and you are watching my DIY channel. I also have 2 other channels which will be linked down below if you would like to check them out, and make sure you check out my Instagram and blog, because I share tons of stuff there that you might not find on my YouTube channels. So once I was done tracing it onto the white paper, I cut it out, and then I also transferred the cutouts onto the cardstock that I wanted to use. Once I had it all cut out, I used tacky glue to glue the pieces on. I just love how using the different spring floral paper gave this truck a bit of a different look, a new life almost, and I just love the way it all came together. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely obsessed with truck decor. I have used it for every season. I have made tons of different DIYs for Christmas, of course. Kind of started to get into it in fall, and then just exploded at Christmas, and I did do some stuff for Valentine's Day as well, and now I'm moving on to Easter. I also use it in my decor. If you want to see how I use a truck all kind of for since Christmas, and I have used it in winter decor and now in Valentine's Day, make sure you head on over to my home channel because I share that there. But I don't know what it is about these trucks, I just absolutely love them.
Ain't get enough of this, being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Ain't get enough of this, being with you is a never-ending sunshine. You got your high heels on, and I'm wearing my worn-out jeans. What could go wrong? Sipping on a beer, sing along to our favorite songs. All I want is you. You make my world spin.
Once I glued most of the stuff on, I just took my craft knife and trimmed off anything that was kind of hanging over.
You can't get enough
I wanted to create like a rim on top of the bed of the truck, but it was a little too small to be gluing stuff, so I decided to add a touch of chalk paint in that. It's almost like the duck egg blue from Annie Sloan, but it's a little bit different.
Maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know you're gonna be the girl that I'll end up calling my own.
I also paint the tires because I wanted them to be completely black.
It's like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. I couldn't let you go now when you're looking like that. Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a murder.
Once that was done, I moved on to working on the little bunny. I was covering the bunny completely, so that's why I did not sand the little spark glitter off. So I have a couple more steps left, and I make little bows out of just regular twine to put on top of the carrots. But before I do that, I wanted to sand the whole truck, just to rough up the edges of it, so it's looks like that paper was there forever. And I also add a little bit of brown paint, very dry brushed technique of the brown paint onto the edges, so it looks almost like it's antiqued. So here it is, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. For my next project, I picked up this bunny at Dollarama, and I will also be using some jute rope, some pom-poms, white and gray paint, and some paintbrushes and a sanding block. So the first thing, just like on the other one, I get rid of all of this glitter. I like glitter, but not so much in my decor. And this bunny sure had a ton of glitter on his body, his ears, his nose, pretty much everywhere. Once all the glitter was gone, I just traced the little top of the carrot onto this scrapbook paper. I just love how patterned and the green this scrapbook paper is, and I think it will look good on top of this carrot. And now comes the fun part. I am using a light gray color, and I will be layering paint. So I'm not looking for an extreme coverage because there are two other paints coming on top of it. I do not wait in between the paints to dry. But the first one I kind of applied up and down, but the next two the first one I applied in all sorts of direction, and then the next two I do follow an up and down pattern when I'm applying the paint. So once the light gray was on, I went with a bit of a darker gray and just dry brushed it on. It's not really a dry brush technique, I'm just not adding a ton of paint and kind of pulling the paint so it's mixing with the lighter gray. I do the same thing with the white brush, but I am using almost like a stippling brush for the white paint, and the white paint is white chalk paint. All of these paints I picked up at dollar store and more. I had a hard time finding gray paints. I've mentioned this in a couple of my other videos, but this dollar store had 3 different shades of it. So I picked up the other dollar stores at silver, but not gray. So here is the paint all mixed up, and I'm just adding more just to finish it off onto the edges. I love the way this the mixture of the layered paints turned out. I think it created a very rustic farmhouse bunny. So once the bunny was completely dried, I end up gluing on the large pompon for his little fluffy tail. So the bunny ends up looking as you're looking to the back of the bunny, not the front. Now I also add that carrot cutout. I did have to trim it a little bit just so it looks like it's peeking from behind him. And I also create a bow with that jute rope to add around his neck. So here he is. I think he turned out so cute, and I think it's gonna look great with my decor because it fits my style. Well, I hope you enjoyed these 2 quick and easy DIYs. If you did, make sure you press that like button, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you press that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.